of transformations here. Everyone's got the warm-up on their desk. Unless you're testing, then don't worry about that. Or if you're doing the warm-up, the goal setting. Okay, so this is the last week of new grades. Okay, so the assignment I'm going to give you today is the last new thing for this 9 weeks. Okay. And then next week, we'll push those grades into the fourth 9 weeks. So you'll have a frozen floor, meaning it can't go down, it can only go up after this last assignment. Okay. I will be putting in your test grades by tomorrow, so that's why I need everyone to finish their tests and get stuff turned in. Okay. Now, everything is due by next Friday. That's the end of the 9 weeks, and then we got spring break. Cool. So check Skyward to see what your updated grades are at any given time. I'll give you printouts as often as I can. But so does everyone have their warm-up sheet in front of them for this class, right? Okay, so warm-up sheet, there's extras in the back. Okay, what's this? So what is this? Blankness. Okay. Now, yesterday, we went over these notes, and if you were taking a test, or if you forgot, or even if you paid attention and you didn't get it, I'm going to explain it right now, okay? Every one of these transformations has a rule. And if you don't have these notes, they're filled out, and there's extra copies in the blue bin for you to grab, okay? So we're going to take this one point. It's called the pre-image, okay? Pre-image. Let me fix that real quick. Pre-image. My bad. So we got a pre-image of -2.7. And what are we going to do to it? We're going to use these rules. Now, if I take this one point, okay, and I do what? Reflect across the x-axis, okay? You're going to have this today. Is everyone looking up here without headphones in our ears, without a phone in our hand? Headphones, please. Please. Focus. Headphones. Like both. It says our rule goes from xy to x negative y. Okay, so the change is y becomes negative y. So it changes the sign of the y. So look at our pre-image, -2.7. My y value is 7. What's that going to change into? So again, the y changes the sign. So this +7 is going to become what? -7. So let's write that in. The -2 stays the same, but now it's a -7. Okay? Now, what if I had multiple points? I would do that for all the points, and then I would graph them. And that would be my transformation. That's reflecting across x. Now, the next one says reflect across y, which means, and if you're testing, no phones. Okay, if you reflect across y, the x has a negative sign now. So all I'm going to do is change the sign of x. So if x is -2, it's going to become a what? +2. So 2, 7. The original 7 stays the same. Okay. So always start with the pre-image, apply the rule, get your new image. Okay. Now, what if it says reflect across y equals x? Okay. So you tell me what's happening down here. If xy becomes yx, all it did was switch places. xy, yx, cool. So -2.7 is going to be now what? 7, -2. All I did was take the pre-image and swapped x and y. Cool. Now, this next one is a little more challenging because there's 2 steps, okay? The next one says -yx. So you'll notice the y has a negative. It's going to change the sign of the y, and it switched places, okay? So let's do it in that order. So -2.7. The negative y means that 7, that y value, changes the sign. So instead of +7, it's going to be what? -7. And then I'm going to switch places. So what's it going to be? It's hard to hear when you're remixing me. Take it out. Please. Susan. What about the other one? The other one. All right, so change the sign of the y. So +7 becomes what? -7, and then we switch them. So what's it going to be? -7, -2. So the x stayed the same, the -2 stayed the same, and just switched its places. Okay. So again, I know this one and this one are the hardest ones, so you got to do 2 steps. So rotating 90, rotating 270, careful with those. Okay. Now rotating 180, xy is now -x, -y. Both of the signs change, both. So instead of -2 and +7, what's it going to be? +2, -7. Thank you very much. Now the rest of y'all who have been here and don't answer me, thank you very much. JK, answer more. Okay. So next one, rotating 270. Again, check the rule. The x changes the sign and it flips the order. So the -2x becomes a +2. You switch the order. What's it going to be? 7-2. Very good. Now, these are all the congruence transformations where the size isn't changing, it's just moving around. The last one you have to know how to do is a translation. Now, here's a specific example. They're not always going to be this, but what if they ask you to move it up, to the right 7 and then down 5? Right 7, down 5. Okay? Well, you're going to add 7 to the x, subtract 5 from the y. So take your pre-image point. So it's really -2 plus 7, my x, and then my y, 7 minus 5. So -2 plus 7 is what? 5. And then 7 minus 5 is 2. Okay? I'm just taking the translation and applying it to the numbers. I added 7 to my pre-image x. I subtracted 5 from my pre-image y. And I get my new point. Okay? Now, we did every transformation we talked about yesterday using just one point. Today, okay, now this is a multi-day thing, so don't get too freaked out. Okay? I'm not going to just give you one day, give you multiple days. But this time you have shape. You're going to actually have to take all the points and do the rule, and then graph it. Okay? So it's very important. I'm going to pass this out to you. You need to write down your original points, apply the rule like we did on the warm-up, and then graph it. If you don't graph it, oops, it's going to not be right, okay, because I need to see the transformation. Okay. Miss Marshall, did she have to go? Okay. It's all good. Sorry. And then this 3 for them. Okay. So I want y'all to work on this unless I give you something else to fix. Okay. Some of us still need to fix our quizzes. And then we'll talk about tests tomorrow. Okay. Does everyone understand what we're doing? Do the transformation packet. You have to have your notes from yesterday. Okay. So your notes look like this. If you don't have this sheet, let me know, okay? But you can get it out of that. You can get it out of that blue bin in the back. But if you're not sure where to find it, let me know. I'll help you out. But this is the notes, has everything on it that you need, okay? All right, here we go.